Welcome back to Firepower. If you think the newest rifle on the shelf is automatically the best, you've already been sold. Walk into any gun store today and you'll see polymer stocks, M-lock rails, aluminum chassis systems, and tactical marketing everywhere you look. Price tags read $1,500, $2,000, sometimes more. And the assumption is simple. Newer means stronger, more accurate, more advanced. But here's the question nobody asks. Will those rifles still be running 50, even 100 years from now? Today, we're looking at 5 forgotten rifles that quietly outperform most modern guns, and unlike the hype-driven releases of the moment, they have the track record to prove it. So how did we get here? How did the market become convinced that tactical automatically means better? A big part of it is marketing. Modern rifle companies don't just sell firearms, they sell an image. Slow-motion range footage, aggressive branding, rails covered in accessories, and the constant message that if your rifle doesn't look mission-ready, you're behind the times. Add to that the echo chamber of influencer reviews, where the same models get showcased again and again, and suddenly repetition becomes authority. Before long, the mindset locks in. Tactical equals superior. But here's the reality. Reliability matters more than accessories. Long-term durability matters more than modular rails. A proven battlefield or hunting record matters more than a hype cycle that lasts 18 months. So for this list, we're judging these rifles differently. We're looking at mechanical design strength, field reliability over decades, parts longevity, real-world hunting, performance, and long-term value retention. Not trends, not aesthetics, performance over time. Let's start with the rifle most people underestimate. Coming in at number 5 is the Marlin 336, a rifle that has quietly earned the nickname Brush King for good reason. Introduced in 1948, the 336 built its reputation on a solid top receiver and side ejection design that made it stronger and more optics-friendly than many of its early competitors. Chambered most famously in .30-30, it became a staple of American deer camps for generations. But here's where the conversation gets interesting. In an era dominated by AR platforms, the 336 still excels in the exact environment most hunters actually face: thick woods and brush under 150 yards. While ARs shine in modularity and long-range customization, the Marlin cycles fast, shoulders naturally, and points almost instinctively. In dense timber, where shots happen quickly and lanes are narrow, that matters more than rails and attachments. It also asks less of you. The 336 runs beautifully with iron sights and doesn't depend on electronics or magnified optics to be effective. In cold weather, with gloves on and temperatures dropping, its simple lever action remains reliable and easy to operate. Picture a whitetail slipping through hardwoods at 80 yards. You don't need a tactical setup. You need a rifle that works immediately. This is the rifle modern hunters pretend they don't need until the woods get thick. At number 4 is the Winchester Model 94, the rifle many consider the true icon of the American lever gun. With more than 7 million units produced, it is not just popular, it is woven into the fabric of American hunting history. The pre-1964 models in particular are often praised for their machining quality and fit, representing a level of craftsmanship that collectors and hunters still chase today. When you compare the Model 94 to many modern lever guns, something immediately stands out: balance. It feels alive in the hands. Lightweight, quick to shoulder, and naturally centered, it carries easily over long miles and comes on target without effort. Modern levers may offer updated finishes or tactical furniture, but few match the instinctive handling of a well-balanced 94. Of course, there is a trade-off. The traditional top ejection design can complicate optic mounting in today's scope-dominated era. In a world built around red dots and high magnification glass, that design feels old-fashioned. But that limitation also reflects the era it came from, a time when marksmanship and simplicity mattered more than accessories. And here is the part that demands respect. This rifle survived 2 world wars and still shows up opening day. That kind of longevity is not marketing. It is proof. At number 3 is the Remington 700, often called the modular legend for a reason. For decades, it has been one of the most popular bolt-action platforms in the world, forming the backbone of countless hunting rifles and serving as the foundation for military sniper systems adapted into the M24 and M40. Its cylindrical receiver design and strong lockup made it both simple and incredibly adaptable. What truly separates the 700, however, is its aftermarket support. No other bolt-action platform has inspired a larger ecosystem of triggers, stocks, barrels, bottom metal, and precision upgrades. Long before modern chassis rifles flooded the market, shooters were already turning the Remington 700 into precision machines capable of outstanding real-world accuracy. Compare it to many of today's factory chassis bolt guns, and you'll notice something interesting. Modern rifles often arrive fully dressed in aluminum frames and adjustable components, but the 700 remains a blank canvas. It allows shooters to build exactly what they want rather than paying for features they may never use. Of course, any honest discussion must acknowledge the Walker trigger controversy, which raised safety concerns and led to recalls. Transparency matters. Yet despite that chapter, the Remington 700 continues to dominate the custom market. Gunsmiths trust it. Competitive shooters build on it. Decades later, it remains a benchmark not because of trends, but because of proven precision and adaptability. At number 2 is the Winchester Model 70, often referred to as controlled power for one simple reason: its controlled round feed design. Unlike push-feed systems that rely on the bolt to push a cartridge forward into the chamber, the Model 70's claw extractor grips the cartridge as it leaves the magazine and controls it all the way into battery. That mechanical difference may sound subtle, but in harsh conditions, it can mean everything. Add to that the 3-position safety, which allows the shooter to lock the bolt, cycle it safely, or fire, and you have a rifle built with field realities in mind. This is not just a range rifle. It is a rifle shaped by dangerous game heritage, trusted by hunters who cannot afford a malfunction when facing large, unpredictable animals. The push-feed versus controlled feed debate has gone on for decades. Push-feed rifles can be extremely accurate and smooth, but when shooting quickly under pressure, especially from awkward positions, controlled round feed reduces the chance of misfeeds or double feeds. It is a design rooted in reliability over convenience. Professional hunters have trusted the Model 70 across continents, not because it looks modern, but because it works when it matters most. When things go wrong in the field, this design still works. At number 1 is the Mauser 98, the rifle that did not simply compete with others, but defined the standard they would all follow. Designed in 1898, its action became the blueprint for modern bolt-action engineering. More than a century later, its core principles still influence rifle design around the world. The massive claw extractor is one of its defining features, capturing the cartridge rim and controlling it through the entire feeding cycle. Combined with a third safety lug at the rear of the bolt, the Mauser 98 was built with redundancy and strength in mind. This was not accidental design. It was extreme reliability engineering in an era when failure could cost lives. That is precisely why so many militaries adopted it or produced licensed and unlicensed copies. From Europe to South America, nations trusted the Mauser system because it functioned in mud, sand, cold, and sustained combat conditions. It handled pressure well, vented gas safely, and protected the shooter in the event of catastrophic failure. Modern rifles evolved with lighter materials, refined machining, and cosmetic updates. But mechanically, many still echo the Mauser's DNA. Modern rifles evolved. This one defined the evolution. Now let's put it all side by side. Steel and wood versus polymer and aluminum. One represents craftsmanship shaped over decades. The other represents rapid innovation shaped by market demand. The classic rifles we've discussed were built in an era when longevity was expected. Many of them are still running smoothly after 50, 60, even 80 years of hard use. Modern rifles often arrive with modular rails, lightweight materials, and aggressive styling, but they also live in a fast product cycle. New model this year, updated version next year, discontinued shortly after. Proven history stands against untested hype. So here's the real question. How many of today's modern rifles will still be functioning reliably 80 years from now? At this point, you probably see yourself in one of a few categories. Maybe you're the tactical buyer drawn to innovation, modular systems, and the latest release. Maybe you're the practical hunter who cares less about trends and more about what works every season. You might be a long-term collector, appreciating craftsmanship and mechanical history. Or maybe you're a legacy builder, thinking about what rifle you can pass down that will still function decades from now. None of these perspectives are wrong, but they lead to very different choices. So here's the question that really matters, and I want you to answer it honestly. Which one would you trust when everything else fails? As we close this out, here's the takeaway. Don't let marketing decide for you. Don't confuse new with better. A rifle being released this year does not automatically make it superior to one that has been running flawlessly for half a century. Before you commit to a logo or a trend, understand the mechanics. Learn how the action locks, how the cartridge feeds, how the safety functions, and how the design handles real-world stress over time. Brand loyalty should come after mechanical understanding, not before it. Because in the end, the best rifle isn't the one trending this year. It's the one still running when the trend dies. If you believe steel and wood still matter, hit like. Subscribe for honest, unsponsored breakdowns. And drop a comment telling me which forgotten rifle you trust the most. Next week, we're exposing the most overrated modern rifles of 2026.